And welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Well, ever so often in life, we go through certain experiences and we meet persons and even hear about people who are true inspirations, who inspire us to become better at what we do and ensure that every day we wake up, we arise, that we do what we love. And this morning I have a gentleman with me who is... We just heard Mr. Mitchell talking about a healthy lifestyle, and this gentleman has been a hiker. He has been hiking for the love of it for the past 50 years. He's had the opportunity to take many tourists to a beautiful island on excursions in the deepest parts of our forest, even Mount St. Catherine. Yes. And I'm speaking about none other than a lot of journalists call him Grenada's Indiana Jones, Mr. Telfor Bedeau. Good morning, Mr. Bedeau.
Good morning.
You made it. Thank you so much for coming down, all the way from Subiz.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Some people ask me if I walked. I say, well, I mean, at least they have buses and I know
I know. But we know you could walk it.
Yeah, well, I walk it many times over.
Yeah, you see that? Yeah. Mr. Bedeau, I want to start at the beginning with you. 50 years. You were 22 years old when you first decided that you were one with nature. You fell in love with nature and you love hiking and going into deep parts of the forest and stuff like that. What made you start to hike?
Really and truly, my first love, as you might call it, was the sea. I like nothing but the sea, rowing, sailing, swimming. But after a while, one of my friends told me he and his family went up to Fedon's camp. In those days, well, I heard the name before, I never really paid much attention to it. And that fired me up because when he told me how beautiful and so on, the scenery and the view and so on, I told my friends, I said, well, guys, apart from the sea and so on all the time, let's try something else. Fedon's camp, do you all agree? Let's have a hike up there. And everybody said, okay, yes. So, well, automatically I became the leader.
Oh, yes.
I was older than them. I had more experience by then. I had been already a sailor. I had been to England and so on. So they unanimously elected me as the leader.
Right.
Actually, I studied navigation, so I was able to guide ourselves through the forest.
Very good.
And everybody, it wasn't many of us at the time. It was only 5 of us. And we decided to go. So we made the journey. We were lucky. We had lovely weather and so on. And the trail, we found the trail without much difficulty. But being a little bit over ambitious, we were enjoying the top of the mountain. And somebody said, well, I heard there were some scouts who walked from Fedon's camp to Granetang. And we could see Granetang in the distance. So I said, okay, well, let's try it.
Right.
We headed in the direction that we saw Granetang. But when we got in the forest where we cannot see, we get disoriented now. I realized we were making circles in the forest. Well, I had studied navigation, so I have an idea because the sun was shining and you... From the angle that the sun was from outside, we didn't have compass and so on. I said, but guys, we're making a circle in the forest. And we realized we were making a circle and we did not know where we are going.
Right.
So I said, the best thing, let's try and find ourselves out. So we climbed up the nearest hill and we saw Grenville and we set our course to Grenville. We went down and we got out just before dark.
Wow.
So that taught me the lesson that the forest is a place like the ocean.
Oh, yes.
In the ocean, we have the compass because you cannot see from one island to the next according to where you are going. So the compass will guide you. So I got my compass and map, and the rest is history. I never got lost in the forest anymore.
Oh, yes. The rest is history. Tell me about the first time you were hired to do a tour.
Oh, well, that came in 1990. That was about 28 years after I started hiking. And it was the Board of Tourism, they were starting this thing about national parks. And the man who was spearheading the thing was the OAS representative, Richard Huber, at the time. And he heard about me as being a regular hiker, so he got in touch. And I went around with them to see different sites and so on that could be good for tourism.
Yes.
And automatically they started calling me, some of the tour operators and so on got to know about me.
Very good.
And that first hike, I could remember it was with an American lady. And so she was driving a car. I had to come in St. George's and meet her. And you know the Americans have to drive on the right.
Yes.
And that lady was constantly, she had to drive on the left in Grenada.
Yeah.
And she was constantly drifting on the right
On
and
the
going
right.
up the Grande Tang. And
Oh
I said,
my.
Lord have mercy, well, you know.
Yeah.
Because
You wonder if you'll make it up safe.
with a Grenadian driver coming around the bend,
Oh, yes.
then that's trouble. But anyhow, I had to keep telling her, oh, left, left, left. And
Yes.
so on.
Yes.
But anyhow, we made it. And from there, I started hiking regularly with visitors.
Very good.
And well, right now I still do that with them, but I continue with my hikes also. And recently, well, we celebrated, when we had 20 years, we had a big celebration. At that time, we had the minister of some of the ministers of government at that time was the PRG. And then in 1987, 25 years, each 5 years we have a big one.
Right. Okay.
And then the hikers sort of lost interest. So I continued hiking on my own during the 90s and so on.
Right.
Except now and then some of my friends from St. George's would join with me. But this match, which had been 50 years, I thought, well, we'll just have a little get together and so on. But when I mentioned it to the hikers, I realized the old hikers who had retired and whatnot, I never thought they even thought of hiking, but everybody got fired up. And they decided, no, we have to have something big.
Right.
So I said, okay, no problem. So we got things going and we had our thing. I said, okay, we're celebrating for the whole month. Each Sunday is a hike.
Good.
So the first hike, which was the first Sunday in the month, we went, well, it's a mountain that, it's unusual for most people. They don't know much about that. Some people call it Two Sisters. But the more popular name is called Titty and Breast.
Titty and breast.
Titty and
okay,
breast.
I gotcha.
Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Titty and Breast. And it was a girl gave it the name.
Okay.
On a hike going to Mount St. Catherine and Seaside, maybe about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, they look like, So we give it that name, and that's the hiker's name.
Right.
But it has spread internationally.
Yes.
Right. So we did that, and we had 27 of us. And after that, we went into the hot spring and had a warm bath.
Wonderful.
The following Sunday, we went to Kabye Beach. That's the hiker's favorite beach. And we had a swim, and we had little 6-year-olds and so on. It's about 5 miles from Soubise, coming south in towards Crochet. And then we had about 40 of us. We counted 40. And we walked back on the sea coast, and we had a swim at every beach. And then we ended up at Mount Camel Waterfall.
Very nice.
And then the real one, which was Fader's Camp, that's the original hike, we had to repeat it on the anniversary.
Good.
And we had 65 persons.
Wow.
And then we had one of the 8-year girl went with us, and she was better than all the older ones.
Wow. And this is a mixture of local and foreigners.
Well, yeah, whoever wants, we are
Whoever
open.
wanted
Anybody
to
want
join.
to come, they can come. We had a lot of foreigners through the years with us. And the climax of the thing, after the hike, we went into the Ebony restaurant in Grenville. The owner of the Ebony used to hike during the 1960s.
Wow.
That's Homan Rennie, he and some of his mates. So he always patronized the hikers when we have something, and he had some lovely goat head waters,
Wow.
cow head waters, and fish waters, and lambi waters mixed with sea cat and so on.
Ooh, good food.
And the hikers, I mean to say, and we had enough for everybody.
Very nice. Very nice.
The last one, we had a small hike around the village of Soubise, very educational. We went to the Carib Stone in Soubise. The majority of people does not know. We have a nice Carib Stone in Soubise. Then we went to Soubise Waterfall, and we went around to Ladi, we saw the old sugar mill, and we went back. We made a nice tour, and then we had a evening of history after, where I related what happened over the 50 years from the beginning, in a sort of basic way.
Wow.
And So from then, I told the hikers I'm going to retire. They say, no, you cannot retire. You have to continue.
Not at all.
I won't be there forever.
I know. Mr. Bedeau, we're going to take a short break and we're going to come back to chat some more about your experience and your inspirational story to share with the rest of our viewers. Viewers, I'm chatting with our very own, I call him a celebrity hiker right here, our very own Mr. Telfor Bedeau. When we return, we'll chat some more. Hope you're enjoying the interview thus far. We'll be right back.
It's nice to be taken care of, and nice to take care of your loved ones. There are many ways to do so. Always with you, Gold Cafe.
Gold Cafe. Treat yourself.
Local agents, Independence Agencies Limited. Available at supermarkets nationwide.
On to have a condom, please, miss.
A condom?
Miss, a condom, a Trojan. I'm playing it safe, sensitive, and secure.
Are you ready to be blown away? The Creative House Do It Best is now in 3 locations: Woodlands, Spiceland Mall, and the brand new Rose Street Mall Store. We are your premium hardware and home center, the #1 place to shop with the widest selections of tiles and exclusive brands of toilets, tools, paints, and home accessories on the island. All your household and hardware needs can be met at one premium house, the Creative House Do It Best. We give you value for your dollar.
Best service, best product. Do it best.
Still waiting forever for stuff to load? Get Flow Broadband. With the most affordable rates on the fastest speeds around, you click and load all your stuff faster than ever.
Flow, watch, talk, collect.
Welcome back. I'm continuing to chat with our very local hiker, Mr. Telfor Bedeau, who recently celebrated 50 years I have to call it, in his business, in what he loves to do of hiking and exploring the natures and the wonders of our lovely island, Grenada. Mr. Bedeau, have you ever discovered any spot on the island that no one knew about before?
Well, yes, while hiking, we stumbled upon different things and that we never knew existed, like the volcanic activity on the western side of Mount St. Catherine. I found that accidentally while heading towards the highest waterfall in Grenada one day. I got word of the highest waterfall from a guy who lost his way. He was hunting once, just before I started hiking in 1962, sometime, because he was telling me about this waterfall. And from 1962, my mind was on it, and I never found it until 1982.
Wow.
And while heading towards it now, we stumbled upon this area of volcanic activity where it's steam coming from underground and, sulfur and so on.
Wow.
Anything from holes, and the water temperature, if you put your finger in it, you got to pull it out quickly.
Wow.
And I reported it to the Ministry of Agriculture. That was in 1985. And they sent a team up there to look at it, and then a local team. And then they recommended that we get expert advice, so they sent for Dr. John Shepard, who was then head of the seismic university unit in the University of the West Indies.
Wow.
And he came. Unfortunately, he wasn't fit, so he had to go on his bottom up and down. Because it's rough terrain,
I know.
Rough terrain.
Which part of the country is that?
To the west of Mount St. Catherine. It's more in the parish of St. Mark's, but right up to the top.
Wow.
And so he went there and he recommended that we monitor it. So at one time they were paying me every month to check it. Well, then somehow we fell through with that. But they have instruments monitoring it.
Right.
And then we found waterfalls and so on. Well, I want to keep some secret. I want them for myself too.
Of course, you have to have your little getaway.
Yeah. My own little private thing. But we have at least about 80 waterfalls in Grenada.
Wow.
Yeah. And we found, scarab stones, and so on in certain areas. And like, say like the knife and fork rock. in telescope.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that from small, but it wasn't known to the wider community. And I brought a few people to see it. And unfortunately, they were doing quarrying at telescope. And they said they were making some ramp or something to load grab, and they covered the knife and fork rock.
Wow.
So we lost that for good.
Oh,
very important.
No. Mr. Bedeau, we're running out of time, but I really want to talk to you about how do you maintain, I mean, you've been hiking for 50 years, so I know you're fit. You just spoke about the gentleman he wasn't fit. What has hiking done for your health?
I think it has helped me a lot to achieve a fairly good, healthy lifestyle up to right now 72 years of age, and I can still climb Mount St. Catherine 2 consecutive days and so on.
Wow.
So I think it has done a lot to me, and eating the food that my grandmother used to cook.
That's right. That's what we have to keep eating. But unfortunately, wonderful.
The commercial world is changing us into something else.
Yeah, making us sick.
Yeah.
And making us sick.
Unfortunately.
Lastly, Mr. Bedeau, there's so much things I want to talk to you about. But do you have tourists who come to you who request to go to a specific spot on the island that they heard about that only you could take them?
Yes, so far, because you see sometimes we have researchers coming, like scientists want to go to a particular spot. They come and they point on the map.
Yes.
Can you take me here? Well, map work was my thing in school. I did geography was my favorite subject, and then contouring and so on. And then I studied land surveying. I studied navigation.
Right.
So therefore I can. Well, they pointed on the map and they said we want to get to that spot. Then I can take them.
What's a popular spot for you for tourists?
Well, usually the hot springs. The ones that are in the inaccessible areas. They usually some of them, mainly scientists, they want to go there.
Yes.
And I deliver what they want.
Of course, of course. Do you have, when you leave your legacy behind of hiking and all of that, is there anyone that you can see taking over from you?
Well, so far one of my little apprentices who were 8 years old in the 80s when he started hiking with me, that's a guy called Simon Green.
Oh.
And I find he's a man that seems to be, he's doing something.
And he knows about the spots and all that.
And I'm begging the others. I said, well, somebody try and,
Yes.
But I had a program teaching them to read map and so on.
Yes.
They came once, twice, third time nobody.
And they lost interest. It's unfortunate. But Mr. Bedeau, it's been a pleasure having you on my program. Thank you so much for making the time to come all the way down to town to do this interview with me. And hopefully, one of these good days, I'll come to do a hike with you.
That would be lovely. From here, I'm going to do kayaking now.
Wonderful. See, no wonder he's so fit. Have a blessed day, sir. It's a pleasure knowing you, and keep on inspiring our youths. Yeah. Folks, we certainly hope you enjoyed the program today. Don't forget to explore a lovely island of Grenada. And if you need to find Mr. Telfor Bedeau, just give me a call and I'll put you on to him. Have a blessed and productive day, and we'll see you right here, 11 a.m. on Thursday. Take care. Bye-bye.